Hello. There is nothing like a nice cold sip of water. I just had the best lunch ever. Feels so good to put like good food and, water into your body and just take care of yourself. Allow yourself to be taken care of. So I guess the moral of like this little segment is being intentional. Being intentional. So if you were to ask me like one thing that I really focused on, probably for like the later part of last year, as well as like obviously in this new year of 2022, the main thing that I've come to when I was thinking like, what video do I want to come back with? I kept coming back to being intentional. What is the definition of intentional?
Intentional means done on purpose, deliberate.
Yeah, so like just having such like merit and thought behind your like thoughts, actions, even like subconsciously. Like I feel like a lot of us live in the 3D. Obviously we live in the here and now, but I think even in like the 5D or like the subconscious, like the actions that you make literally without even thinking about it, like the actions you make consciously when you decide what kind of comment you want to make back to someone, or you decide, like it all comes back to your intention. And I think for me personally, having, a positive mindset and wanting to not only do the right thing, but be a good person, make sure that my actions are impacting other people in a positive way. My actions are impacting me in a positive way. There's like police sirens. I had a lot of really self-destructive tendencies. I never thought of it. I was just like, oh, like I'm out with my friends and da-da-da-da, and oh, I have a date tonight and da-da-da-da. As I'm coming out of it and like focusing on my sobriety, I think that a lot of the tendencies I had were really like self-destructive, drinking too much, doing things that I didn't want to do just because I felt like if I didn't do them, I wouldn't fit in with friends, or I wouldn't be the cool girl, or he wouldn't think I'm cute, or he wouldn't want to see me again, or he would be like, oh, I thought she was like this down ass and now I'm seeing that she's like super boring. I feel like I always tried to play this role to fulfill everyone else. I was always not like hollow and empty because I've always been like a whole person. I've always been like myself and like authentic and like speak the truth and raw and real. But I think there was like a layer of me that was just stripped back constantly from always seeking validation from other people. This has nothing to do with social media. Validation on social media is probably the last aspect I would actually think of. I was so busy seeking validation from random people I didn't even know on the street that would see me, friends to a certain extent, most likely guys, or like people I would just meet or I would go out, and it's like this image I just had to portray to fit the mold of whatever people's perspective of me was. And I just genuinely, it left me so empty inside. And like now that I'm in such a healthy place am I recording? Now that I'm in such a healthy, stable place in my life, it's easy for me to just be like, to look back and to be like, yes, like this was an unhealthy tendency, and, yes, this was a coping mechanism, and yes, that probably wasn't the best for your mental health. But in the moment, I don't know. I guess it's just how I got by. But, when you can kind of stand above yourself and like get a bird's eye view of exactly who you are and what you're doing and what's going on, clarity comes through. And I think that being intentional is so important when it comes to as simple as like what food you want to put in your body, or like how you want to treat your body, or how you want to move your body, or the thoughts that you're having, right? Are most of your thoughts depleting you? Are they making you feel like you're not worthy, or you're not good enough, or you're not deserving of being nourished and fed and protected and washed? I'm sure like a couple people can relate to this. When you feel super depressed, you almost like have a hard time taking care of yourself. Like it's hard for you to bathe. It's hard for you to want to do those things for yourself because you feel you're in such a rut that going out of your way to shave your legs or wash your hair, do your makeup, like it's just such a step that like is so much easier not taken. And I think sobriety for me is the biggest one. I'm going to open up a lot this year on my struggles and coping mechanisms and certain things that I've done and I've gone through and I've experienced, because this whole channel, like this, everything that I'm doing is for my journey. It has nothing to do with numbers. It has nothing to do with engagement. It literally has to do with, this is where I started and this is where I'm going. And my foot's falling asleep. I will never be like that person that's like, oh my God, like I'm gonna private all these videos and like I'm so ashamed that like I used to party a lot and like I was dating this person at this time. Like, I literally don't care. If I look, I was literally watching my videos a week ago before my camera came in. And I just, it's almost like, it's literally like an out of body experience. Like you're putting yourself in a place that you used to be and reflecting upon it. And it's so empowering and it's so humbling and gratifying. It's such an experience to acknowledge that this was how I used to be and see it from an outside perspective and look at the place you were at in your life and, you know, adjust accordingly. Like when I look at that, I'm like, oh my God, I remember being, not that I didn't have respect for myself, but I just remember being like selfless. Like I was just constantly seeking validation and wanting to fit in and wanting to have a fun time and wanting to be included and wanting to be included so bad that I was just like putting myself in the situations that just were so extra and so out there. And like, I'm thankful for it. Like genuinely, I genuinely feel thankful for it. But now that I'm in a healthy, stable relationship and I'm actually happy, I don't have to worry about my relationship. I can just live my life. It's really made me come to terms with my trauma and how traumatized I was and I've been, and I still kind of am in a way, because post-traumatic stress disorder is having a major experience and it's sticking with you, and sometimes it repeats in your head over and over and over again. And I think for me, I don't think it was as dramatic as PTSD, but I feel like a lot of the situations I was in, I almost became numb or comfortable with. I was so used to being around chaos and trauma, putting myself in situations that were unhealthy and toxic and manipulative and deceptive and all of these terrible, horrible words and actions, that I became desensitized to it in a certain way. And I think desensitized is a really scary and disgusting word sometimes, because if you work in healthcare and you do surgeries and you're desensitized to seeing that, or if you watch crazy videos online all the time, you're desensitized to mutilation and whatever the hell you're watching. Even porn, like if you watch porn too much, you're desensitized to, you know, the emotional aspect of a connection. And I just feel like a part of me was desensitized, and I was so used to living my life in that fashion that when I really slowed down and took a step back and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm like so happy in my relationship. Like I would rather stay in tonight and have popcorn and like have a bath. I don't really want to drink, and I don't really want to go get fucked up with you. And I don't really feel like when you call me, I want to talk badly about other people all the time. And I kind of saw that you know, said that you were going to do this thing, and I never really gave you a deadline on it. And you kind of told me that you were working on it and you had all this progress done and you were going to send me updates. And that happened for a week. And you basically months later admitted to fully lying to me. So that's why I kind of really took a step back, and I was like, okay, I need to not only evaluate, but it almost kind of showed me a safe way to acknowledge that that wasn't where I wanted to be. Like I didn't want those people in my life. I didn't want to share those memories with those people anymore. I didn't want to engage in the toxicity that was all around me. I just wanted to work and focus my energy on my work and making this winter saving for all of my dreams. Literally, I've been wanting to do this for so long, and it's like I'm sitting here in front of a camera filming in 4K at the highest bit rate on a brand new spec'd out MacBook Pro with a studio microphone. Like lighting is crazy. Like it is such a privilege to sit in this moment with myself. And later in this video, we're going to be doing some breathing exercises and affirmations. If you guys are interested in that, or if you've never done it before and you just kind of want to be coached through it, I think that would be so exciting. No, I'm not professional. No, I'm not like trained and I like do it for a living, but you know, you don't have to be this crazy famous person or crazy rich person or crazy educated person to sit with someone and just kind of connect with each other in a different way. So really excited for that in this video. But when I was sitting down to make this video, I was like, okay, intentionality, is that even a word? Let's find out. Hey Siri, define intentionality.
Intentionality means the fact of being deliberate or purposive.
Underneath that it says the quality of mental states, example, thoughts, beliefs, desires, hopes, which consists in their being directed towards some object or state of affairs. This is so powerful, and I'm actually really happy that that came out as being a word, because if it wasn't, that'd be kind of embarrassing. But intentionality to me like if we dissect this, like if we really go into it. So the purpose of mental states, okay, so it's literally something mental, you know, we're focusing on it mentally. Our thoughts, 100%. If your thoughts are negative, that will be your intention, is to be negative. If your thoughts are positive, your intention will be positive. Your beliefs, right? If we believe that X group is this way, then we're going to believe all of people of X group is this way. Even with faith and religion, right? Like if we believe that this rule is this rule, and if you break this rule, da da da, your beliefs really do shape who you are as a person. Desires, ooh, that is such a good one. What do you want out of life? What are your intentions on the things you want, right? Like, do you want positive things? Do you want negative things? Are you desiring to, you know, be a better person? Are you desiring to not be a better person? Are you desiring to change for the good? Are you desiring to stay the way you are and, you know, keep the status quo? I don't know why my first thought was cheating. You know what I mean? Like some people just exist in their life and that is just a part of their life. Like I said at the beginning of this, subconsciously, even if you're living normally and you don't think it's affecting your life, subconsciously is a part of your life, which will change your intention, which I think is so powerful. And hopes. This one is like, oh, it's just like so, oh, hopes is such a good one. I genuinely think that my intention and hope would be everyone in my life is healthy and happy and loving and fulfilled. I hope that the world can come to a common ground and we can start worrying about climate change and seeing the corruption in the political atmosphere and how, you know, a small amount of people controls a lot of the wealth. And how, you know, if you work a baseline job and you have barely any benefits, if inflation is real and the cost of living is going up, rent is going up, food is going up, hydro is going up, literally everything's going up except for our wages. And I understand that if you do this job, and that is the minimum wage. However, with the pandemic, you know, as well as I think a lot of jobs will expect a lot out of you or will under hire and put more work on the workforce, which I think, you know, if there's more work applied to that job, I think people should be aware that you're deserving of your work. Productivity is such a scary thing because at the end of the day, when it comes to productivity, your value is how much you can get done. And I think that's so disgusting. And we live in a world where working 80 hours a week is the normal. And I think that a lot of countries that don't require that and have like a balance in life, a lot of people are happier and have a better quality of life. I think a lot of people struggle with finding a purpose. What is my purpose? What am I here to do? What does my days look like? Why? People are asking why. Like, why am I doing this task? Why am I doing this job? What is the return it's giving me? Right? And I think that that's such an important thing to question because even though it's great to pay the bills and put food on the table, if you're struggling inside yourself to find a purpose, then clearly something in you is not fulfilled. I feel like I've just been ranting and I literally haven't read any of my notes. So let's get back into the intentional talk. Yes, so being intentional can even be as simple as going to bed on time. I actually thought about this morning because I'm up every day at 6. I'm usually in bed by 8:30 or 9. Sometimes I'm like head on the pillow by 9:30, and that's just with my schedule. I'm a morning person, so that's just the schedule that works for me. Of course I do late nights, but last night, in fact, we did do a late night. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I could have used like a little bit more sleep because my body is adjusted to like that time schedule and sleep schedule. And I think it's really important to acknowledge like a sleep schedule. Like I know for myself personally, like when I was working nights, I had to adjust and it took me like 2 weeks to get into the groove of working nights. And then when I started working days again, it took me like 2 weeks to get back into the groove of working days. So I don't think it's something that you can just flip the coin and like have your body adjust. I genuinely think your body is a temple, and regardless of what you're feeding it with, you know, knowledge or thoughts, whatever you're feeding it, I believe does impact the overall aspect of you as a person. And I love water so much. Ooh, this is a good one too. So being intentional at work. I actually saw a TikTok that touched on this a little. It kind of said basically this girl was like, oh, someone came up to me asking for advice. And I was like, oh yeah, that's great. Like da-da-da, and lied my way through it. And I watched that. I was not only disgusted, but I genuinely saw that and I was like, they can't be serious. Like there's no way they would present themselves like that to the world. And I think a part of me always sees the good in everybody and a lot of people. I always see the good before the bad. I've mentioned this in one of my videos before where if there's there's something noticeably obvious about a person, I'm the last one to point it out, right? Like I grew up bullied by people just not being comfortable around me. And I understand that. I get it. You know, if you're around someone that's different than you, it's hard to relate to them, which causes prejudgment and can cause ignorance. Growing up with that judgment, I've always tried to see people for who they are, just accept them and never point anything out on them that could make them uncomfortable, or, you know, never bring up any conversation that could make them uncomfortable, because I would literally sit at my family's table for like dinner and family members would be like, oh, so do you have like a girlfriend? Oh, so like da 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 da. And I would sit there and be like, I understand the intent probably wasn't negative, but from someone like me who's like hypersensitive and hyper aware, I probably wouldn't have gone there. You know what I mean? Like I probably would have been like, oh, you know, how's school going? Okay, like what are your interests? Like, do you have any hobbies? Da 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 da. Literally anything. Or, you know, you could even just word it in a different way. Like, oh, you know, do you have a partner? Do you have a significant other? I think for a while the word partner kind of made me uncomfortable because it implicates like, I don't know. Growing up, I've been through quite a bit when it comes to self-discovery and identity. That's a big one. So yeah, no, but now I think partner or significant other is super respectful and super appropriate. And I think it's almost like endearing and sweet to call someone a partner, because if you share your life with someone and they are like a partner in your life, I think it's really cute to, not cute, but like, I think it's nice to acknowledge them as that. So, but yeah, no, anyway, so the TikTok was basically saying like, you know, I'll lie my way through situations just so that it's easier for me. A part of me understands the concept. Like I understand like the intent behind it. I get it. Like if it's an uncomfortable situation, sometimes, you know, if you're speaking to a man and you're at a bar and it's not a good situation, you need to get out of it. I understand telling a white lie, like 1000%. But in your day-to-day life, like if no one's harming you and you're not in danger's way and someone's just engaging in conversation, if you openly lie and you openly aren't honest, you're not authentic, I think that subconsciously sets you up to have a negative intention, because lying and not being fully truthful and not being honest, whether it's to a complete stranger or it's to family or it's to yourself, I think that lying is lying. It doesn't matter if you're lying to someone you don't know, or regardless of who it's to, the intent is still there that you're lying. I sometimes get in trouble for being too honest and too upfront and too straightforward. I think it's helped a lot of people love me better, because I will tell you literally everything under the sun about my life, and I'll let you judge me like on that, or I'll let you make a judgment on that, or I'll let you, you know, make a comment on that. Ooh, this is so true. Being intentional to me can mean like doing things that may not just feel right in the moment, but will feel like good in the future or going forward. And I think that's where I'm pretty much at in my life, is a lot of the intentions I'm setting are to benefit me in the future. Sobriety, cutting toxic friends off, changing my sleeping schedule, feeding my body with healthy food, practicing self-care and mental health, working out and doing things that nourish and benefit and improve my body. You know, if you're constantly acting of how you feel in the moment, you're only going to be gratified for a couple seconds or moments or minutes or however long that fleeting dopamine hit lasts. But if you are really intentional and you practice that every single day going forward, the days to come will be less hard to navigate, because you've already set yourself up to be prepared for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm by no means anywhere close to being perfect. I don't think, you know, I'm there yet. I think I'm definitely still really working on myself and really practicing what I preach. And I think that, you know, having this conversation one-to-one with not only, you know, you guys, myself, my literal camera, it's just like a form of therapy for me. I'm so excited to be back and posting. My camera is about to overheat, so I'm gonna turn it off. When I come back, we can do some breath work and some positive affirmations. Let my camera cool down for a bit. I am so excited to do some breath work. Okay. So if you've never done breath work before, or if you have, amazing. If you haven't, it honestly, like if I'm having a panic attack or like an anxiety attack, or I need to like ground myself. So if you put your hands like this, this means that you're open to receiving. You're opening yourself up to receive. Whereas if you put your hands like on the ground, it's like how you ground or center yourself. So you're like grounding yourself. You're like, okay, I'm real. I'm existing. I'm here. Whereas like this is like something I would do if I was like, I don't know, like at a meditation or something. So we're going to do 3 different breaths, one at a time, obviously. Okay. So for the first breath, let's pick something that we want to fix or change about ourselves. And on the breathe in, we'll think of exactly that. And we'll hold for 3 seconds. And then on the exhale, release all of that energy. Release, like breathe out slowly. So when you inhale, think of things you want to fix or change. Think of like one thing you want to fix or change about yourself. Doesn't have to be appearance. It can be maybe a toxic trait or just something you want to improve on. So inhale, thinking about that. Hold for 3 seconds. And then exhale, slowly releasing that negative part of yourself or that thing that you want to fix or change. We'll do it together. So on 3, we'll breathe in. So 1, 2. And literally feel right in the bottom of your stomach, everything just empty. Okay, so for the second breath, we're gonna pick something that we wanna be really intentional with this year or the intent we wanna have for this year. So on the breathe in, think of that intent and fill your lungs right up to the top of your head. Feel like you're filling right up to the top of your head. And then after the 3 seconds on the release, when you're letting the air out of your body, push the air all the way to the bottom, right to the bottom of your tailbone. So if you can feel right back here, push all that air out and basically release that intention into the world. Because obviously if we're thinking about the intention of the breath in, we're going to release it out into the worlds on the breath out. So again, on 3. So 1, 2. Ooh, my head. I think the best feeling about it is actually the breath after the deep breath, because your body is like needing air, and it just like that need for air. Oh, I love breathing exercises. They make me feel so calm and so aware and so grounded and so connected. And I think it's so important to feel extremely present and appreciative of every moment we have. I think the last 5 days, I was working a lot and working full time. It's really nice to be intentional on my day off and just sit here and be present in the moment and be really intentional with my thoughts and my thinking and channel that into my breaths and then just let it go. So this one is probably going to be my favorite one that we're going to do. So on this breath, it's the exact same as the previous 2. So on 3, we'll breathe in and then hold it for 3 and then breathe out. But this time, on the breathe in, think of one place you want to be this summer. It can be literally anywhere. Think of the place you want to be and think of the journey getting there. So on the breath in, think of that place and think of the journey getting there. And then on the breath out, think of you getting to that place, being at peace in a safe place and enjoying it. So if you're having kind of a hard time conceptualizing what I'm saying, I'll give mine as an example. So for me, I'm going to be envisioning myself on a really, really long hike. On the breath in, I'm going to be picturing myself on this long hike, and it's going to be exhausting and super, super long. And then on the breath out, I'm going to picture myself at this beautiful scenic view at the very top of a mountain or a hill, looking out at the world and the hike I just took and being at peace knowing that I got there. So on 3, 1, 2. I think that I should have probably mentioned to you guys, but it's really, really nice if you do it with your eyes closed. If, you just did it with me and your eyes were open, try again doing it with your eyes closed. It is literally the best feeling to really just set the intention and picture it in your mind, and then just let it go. Just let it go. I feel so good. I am going to refill my water because I probably already drank half of this bad boy, and take off my makeup. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of skincare and start editing and just enjoying the rest of my day. But if this is the end of the video, or wherever, you know, this video ends up after this, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys sitting with me and spending time with me, and setting intentions with me. And I hope wherever you are in the world and whatever time it is when you're watching this, if you took one thing from this video, it's setting an intention for yourself that you can look back on and be proud of yourself that you were able to commit to it and do something positive, you know, for you and your life and your way of living. So I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Just stay well and stay humble and stay thriving and stay grateful and stay appreciative. And I'll see you guys in the next one.